Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students of third year class. Today we will discuss what is the molecular basis of cancer. So my dear students, whenever a cancer is formed, basically the genetic damage lies at its heart. Whenever we find a cancer, there must be some genetic damage is in that cancer. That is the cause, that is the basic cause of a cancer is genetic damage. So a tumor, it is formed by the clonal expansion of a single precursor cell that has incurred genetic damage. That is, all the tumors, these are monoclonal. So whenever a tumor is formed, it is formed by the expansion of a single precursor cell, and that precursor cell that has genetic damage in it. So when that cell that contains genetic damage in it, that cell when divides and it expands, it increases its growth, it results in the tumor formation. So all the cells in a tumor express the same allele. There are 4 classes of normal regulatory genes that are the growth promoting proto-oncogenes that are normally found in all normal healthy cells. There are 4 classes of normal regulatory genes. So as I have told you, the growth promoting proto-oncogenes, the next one is the growth inhibiting tumor suppressor genes, then the genes that regulate programmed cell death that are called apoptotic genes or pro-apoptotic genes, and the genes that are involved in the DNA repair that are the principal targets for genetics. So these are the 4 groups of genes that are normally present in the normal healthy cells, and these are involved for the normal growth of routine growth of the cells. So carcinogenesis is a multi-step process that at both the phenotypic and the genetic level, it results from the accumulation of multiple mutations. So my dear students, please make this thing clear that whenever a cancer is formed, always and always there is mutation at the genetic level in that cells, and that mutation is not only a single mutation, but there are accumulation of multiple mutations that lead to cancer formation. Alteration that a cell must have to form a tumor is insensitivity to growth inhibitory signals. That is, the cells, they become insensitive to the growth inhibitory signals, and they have the particular characteristic of evasion of apoptosis. That is, they are not under the control of pro-apoptotic genes. They have evaded the function, the characteristic of apoptosis. They are not working under the control of pro-apoptotic genes. So they are out of control. Then limitless replicative potential. Such cells, such tumorous cells, such cancerous cells, they have limitless replicative potential. Very fast replication, it occurs in these cells. And these cells have sustained angiogenesis. That is, they are capable of forming new blood vessels. So they rapidly, fastly form new blood vessels for their nutritional requirement. Then is the ability to invade and metastasis, a very important ability that leads to cancer formation. That the tumor that has the mutation of the genes at its heart, but yet it does not invade, we will call it as benign tumor. But when it invades, when it has the ability to invade and it has the ability to metastasize, then you will say that this tumor has transformed into cancerous tumor. That is no cancer. So that ability to invade and metastasis, that leads to a cancer formation. and they must have defects in their DNA repairness. That is, the DNA repair genes that should be mutated, and there should be defect in DNA repair that leads to the cancer formation. Now, my dear students, this is a flow chart shown to you that how a tumor forms, how a malignant tumor, cancer forms. So first of all, what happens that most initially, as I discussed in my initial lectures, that whenever there is some stressful stimulus, it leads to damage to a normal cell. So what are that stress conditions or that stimuli? The chemicals, the radiations, the viruses, etc., that when act on the normal cell, that lead to stress on that normal cell. So what happens? The normal cell, its genes, they become damaged due to that stressful condition. The genes, the DNA, that is damaged, and yet, as we have told, that we have in our body, in our cells, we have the DNA repair genes. So when these DNA repair genes, they are active, they are healthy working, so what do? They correct that damage of the DNA, and due to that successful DNA repair, the cell again becomes normal. But in case there is no correction of the DNA damage, there is failure of DNA repair. Why failure of DNA repair? If there are some inherited mutations in gene affecting the DNA repair, if the genes that are involved in DNA repair normally, if that genes are mutated, so it means that we have no capacity to repair the DNA, that damaged DNA. So that damaged DNA remains as such because of mutations of the genes that affect the DNA repair, or genes that affect the growth or apoptosis. If there is mutation of all these genes, so these genes, if they are mutated, they are failed to repair the DNA, and as a result of that, there are mutations in the genome of the somatic cells. And what happens? That cells, they divide along with that DNA damage. So what happens? There is activation of growth promoting oncogenes. There is inactivation of suppressor genes. So basically, what did we study? That the growth promoting proto-oncogenes are the healthy genes that are involved in the normal growth division. Then tumor suppressor genes that should be healthy and that should be actively working, so that if a tumor is going to be formed, that genes should work to suppress that tumor formation. And the pro-apoptotic genes that should be actively working if there is some damaged cell, if there is some cell with the mutation, it is formed, that cells that should be apoptosed, that should be dead by using that pro-apoptotic genes. But in case if there is inactivation of tumor suppressor gene, or there is alteration in the genes that regulate the apoptosis, or there is activation of growth promoting oncogenes, so it leads to that defected cell to grow, to expand. So what happens? There is unregulated cell proliferation, and because of decreased apoptosis, again the defective cells, that is not dead, that is not put to death because of inability of the pro-apoptotic genes. So this results in decreased apoptosis and unregulated cell proliferation, resulting in clonal expansion of that damaged cells. The cells with the damaged genes, it is expanded, it is grown. So it is grown into a big colony. So what happens? It also needs angiogenesis. So these cells, they have the capacity to increase the number of blood vessels for their nutritional requirement, and they escape from tumor immunity. And they, not only that, but they also accumulate further additional mutations with that and result in the tumor progression. So up till now there is tumor progression, and when that tumor, it invades and it gains the ability to metastasize it is now named as malignant neoplasm that invades and metastasizes. So in this way, what happens? Cancer develops. So these cancerous cells, these have self-sufficiency in their growth signals. These are, as we have told, that the proto-oncogenes is the name for the normal healthy genes that are involved in the normal growth of the cells. But when these genes, they have been mutated, these are damaged, they are named as then oncogenes. So oncogenes are now the genes that are helpful for the tumor progression, for the tumor growth. So that genes, oncogenes, that promote the autonomous cell growth in cancer cells. These oncogenes are created by mutations in proto-oncogenes and are characterized by the ability to promote the cell growth in the absence of normal growth promoting signals. So my dear students, as we all know that the proto-oncogenes, that are normal genes that are involved in the cell growth in the presence of normal growth promoting signals. But when they have transformed into oncogenes, the damaged genes, the genes that are helpful for the autonomous cell growth in cancer cells, these oncogenes that even in the absence of normal growth promoting signals, they have the capability of to make the cells proliferate even in the absence of the normal growth promoting signals. So these cells, they result in abundant, numerous proliferations of the tumor, resulting in the cancer formation. Oncoproteins. What are oncoproteins? When there are abundant proteins, that onco, why we name the word onco? Because these are the proteins that are formed by the activity of the oncogenes. That are oncogenes are involved in production of the abnormal tumorous proteins. So the oncoproteins are those proteins that are formed as a result of activity of the oncogenes. They resemble the normal products of proto-oncogenes, except that oncoproteins are often devoid of important internal regulatory elements. So my dear students, the proteins, healthy proteins, they always have important internal regulatory elements that properly regulate the production, the cell production. But the oncoproteins, these are devoid of that important internal regulatory elements, and they continue to grow. They have uncontrolled characteristics of cell production. So that's why we name such proteins as oncoproteins. Their production in the transformed cells does not depend on growth factors or other external signals. In this way, the cell growth becomes autonomous. So my dear students, again, the main difference is that for a growth of a normal cell, there is always, the cells, they are always dependent on the growth factors and external stimuli, external signals for their growth. But in case of the cancer formation, the cells that are forming, they are autonomous. They do not require the external signals or growth factors, and they are free from checkpoints and free from dependence upon external signals. We will discuss in detail that what are checkpoints in the cell cycle and what are the basically regulatory process through which every cell should have gone through for the normal cell proliferation. But in case of tumorous proliferation, in case of cancerous proliferation, these regulatory mechanisms, these are evaded and these are not followed.